Hello, this is Gran. Welcome back to another episode of Dead Rising 2 Master Run. So, we're finally going to get the chance to unlock the Palisade Mall shortcut. It helps a lot. Palisade Mall is prohibitively far in this game. Much worse than, say, North Plaza in Dead Rising 1. And it's just too bad, because like that's where like the gun store is. There's some other useful things there, particularly a bunch of survivors we'll have to save at a later point in the game that we'll need this shortcut for. And I always just hate going there because without the shortcut, it sucks. But with the shortcut, it is a breeze because it's right outside the safe house. So we're going to go down there. We do need to find a drink to give to her. You can usually find one at any of the bars, or in a pinch, there'll probably be one in one of the trashes around the New Fortune City. Or just Fortune City. Anything will work. So anything drinkable. I usually like to give her vodka because it's funny that she would just drink an entire vodka bottle because she's thirsty. But what have you, the game doesn't make a distinction between the two. It does seem to make a distinction between food and spoiled food. Like later on there's a Hunger Pains mission where you have to give him food and you can physically give him spoiled food, but it won't advance the quest. It'll just kind of glitch it out. But he will throw up, so that is hilarious. I should make a little clip where I feed spoiled food to like a party of 8 survivors and just film it, everyone throwing up. Be a pretty fun time. I get them in a really tiny area and do it. Be hilarious. It's funny to me, maybe not to you, but it'd be a lot of setup for a little bit of a joke. But it'd be kind of cool just to see all that vomit going everywhere. So we're headed over to, we're going to deal with her first. I usually like to get rid of the drink, deal with her, take her over to Brand New You, which is where the shortcut is, and then I go deal with Slappy when she's out of the way. Usually because she's on a time limit and Slappy really isn't. I'm also going to pick up some food at this store. The pizza's pretty damn good, plus you can get wine there to give to her. So, it's a good stop. Slappy can be a really annoying fight. I don't have the Defiler, which is a really good weapon against him, because you can knock him down. But you can do pretty well with guns, too. It's a clunky fight, but I don't really feel a need for anything more than this. Like, you can, like I said, you can either get him stuck, you can knock him down and hurt him a bunch and then roll away. You can actually go into the pawn store, and there's a little gap you can shoot through where he's going to have a tough time hitting you with his, like, spitballs. But to each their own. There's another example where I don't know this guy's deal, but he does like have reason to be angry at you. Because as far as he knows, you did cause all of this. And this is just such a cool character idea. Like, what is his thing? What is he just like, is Slappy like some huge icon and he's just like the one guy that plays it here, or is he like the actual actor that always plays it and that's why he's obsessed? I just don't know. It'd be cool if Slappy got mentioned elsewhere, like in Dead Rising 3 or 1. But I don't know. I don't know if he has ties to that store or is part of a show or who knows what, but it's such great design. I guess he's on a show, yeah. It would be hilarious if he took the helmet off and he literally did look exactly like that. Like, just because he was so obsessed with it. And the grin is amazing.
Look, are you okay? Do you need something?
Am I okay? Do I need something?
I don't know how he sees through that. I guess he would see through the teeth somehow.
The one who caused all this. You took the best thing in the world away from me. My girl. She was so beautiful. And we had so much in common. We were gonna go on a date tonight. And she loved me for who I am. But now, look at her now!
This is some really good voice work, I think.
Because of you! You brought the zombies here!
This is a great example of just how psychopaths should look in the game. They are awesome, well done, well designed, awesome fit. Dead Rising really is good at like some of the characters they design. Or at least all the crazy characters. They're not the best at normal ones, but some of these crazy things, like these situations, it's just so perfect. So I'm gonna go over here to the pawn store to kind of collect myself. You can usually shoot through those gaps if you really want to. It just depends on, you really only need to dodge those spitballs. I don't know what they're officially called, but it's like you can get a spitball gun or marshmallow cannon or something, and then you can also set that on fire to make that weapon. If you beat him, you can make the flamethrower guns, which are squirt guns and gasoline. Plus, he will always drop one where he dies. So, you can get those. But really, they're not worth it. I mean, maybe they're actually good against bosses, but I do not like it for zombies. I don't see the point. Spit gun might be kind of good. I never go to the trouble of making it. You actually get that combo card, I believe, from just leveling. But we're going to make quick work of him. You can find, really, if you're having trouble with him, there's the gun store in here, so you can just swing around there, then get some food from that grocery store like we did. He's not too hard. I'd recommend shotguns, but sniper rifles are pretty easy to deal with him too, if only they did more damage. It's just all about dodging those little blasts, because they explode, and plus he does this spread where he fires like right, middle, left, so you can't just hide behind cover because one of them is going to usually get through and explode behind you. If you want to do this faster, you can, like I said, if you have a heavy enough weapon, like the defiler, just knock him down. He'll sit there for a little while. You can wail on him. Unfortunately, you need something pretty heavy, so you can't. I originally had hoped you could knock him down with that double leg drop where you jump up and punch him in the face with both legs, but that just makes him stumble and then he just hits you. And if you don't make him stumble, you can't really do much with melee attacks. So if you're going for that, I'd say probably go down to the gym or Sport Trance to get something nice and heavy. That's probably going to be the best. If you need food, there's a wine store, 2 stores to the left of here. Just be careful, don't drink too much alcohol. But I'd recommend just bringing enough with you. It's just kind of like, if you take this fight nice and slow, it's not too hard. Particularly if you have guns, which you can get easily here. I try to be cool and finish him off with melee, but I can't get the timing right. There's rarely anything useful in this store, unfortunately. I can't remember explicitly what I'm thinking of. I know I was surprised about the chainsaw and the dynamite. I actually was like, hey, dynamite, I'm gonna give it a shot, but I like to look cool for style points, but it's pretty hard to get him to be where you want him to. The blast radius of the dynamite is not that great, and the damage is even less so. Like, it'll kill zombies, but for the most part, it's just gonna knock them down. I do get to land my nice low blow there. Probably my best moment is when I kill the motorcycle Leon Bell guy with that little bull true where he charges at me.
How about that date? I'm coming to pick you up in just a minute.
Oh god, that sound when he moves her head is just brutal.
Don't worry, kids. Slappy will live forever.
Just a heads up, that's not the last time they're gonna pull that. I don't think there's any jump scares in Dead Rising 1, and I don't consider it to be a scary game by any stretch of the imagination. But I don't know, maybe some people consider it scary. Like, it really varies on who you are and what you dislike. Like, I'm totally fine with playing like Dead Space. I don't consider that game to be that scary. It's gory and actiony, but I don't consider it really scary. But then I know other people who play consider BioShock 1 to be terrifying, which I don't really get. It's like suspenseful, I guess. I think it really is also a question of like what you've seen in the past. Like if you have never played a horror game and you went alone and had to play the entire like thing of BioShock, I could see it. But like once you have played like some bigger stuff, like going from like Amnesia to like Dead Space, I mean like Dead Space is a good game, but it definitely would like lessen it. It's like you build up the kind of a immunity to it. I originally wanted to do some more horror games because I used to have a thing where we'd play horror games with some friends of mine. We'd just get like some drinks and have a blast because they weren't very good. They would never know. I would just bring out like a Five Nights at Freddy's or something, which they never heard about, and just be like, okay, hey guys, listen, here's how it works. I'm just gonna put you in a dark room, just play it. And that was a fun experience, watching them discover what it was. Try to get them to play Amnesia, but they got stuck on the first puzzle, so it never amounted to anything. One day, maybe.
That's great.
So this is Lynette. So when you save her and give her a drink, you instantly get the Lynette's Passage, which is going to let us use the shortcut once we take her there. And that's going to be a huge boon to navigating around the map. This is another thing where I wish it would come a little bit sooner, but you can only do it as soon as you get the scoop. I know in other gameplay modes, the shortcut will already be unlocked. Like if you go straight into overtime, you should already have it. And in, I think, some of the Frank versions, you'll already have it. I grabbed the beach ball there because that's another toy for Katie I have to give her. Here, you can't jump with your survivors, so I have to put her down and then let her climb up on her own.
Let's go.
It can be a little bit clunky to drop survivors. Like you have to like stand still and hit B. Other times you can just like, with heavy weapons when I want to drop it, I just use the watch because that's instant. And any way I can kind of get ahead is pretty nice. Here I'm curious what the hell this arrow is doing. It's like, oh, just go in here. And like, do I not know something? And then it's quickly goes, hey, now just go straight up through the ceiling. Like, thanks, Dead Rising. And I don't want to hate, but doing pathfinding in games or real life is very difficult a job for a computer. So, I get it. I don't quite know how the Dead Rising arrow works. It just kind of does its thing. Like, one thing that sucks is that arrow never takes into account the shortcut, even though you unlocked it. So it's totally something you could forget whether or not you have the shortcut, and that would just kill your time. But it's just a convenience thing. You do need the shortcut to save the tape it or die crew at the end of the game. That's the main thing you absolutely need it for, because they're solely there to mess with you. So they don't spawn until 45 minutes before the game ends. So that's like, that barely gives you enough time to get them back with the shortcut. And that takes you almost straight to the safe house. So I don't care for that. I really hate that group. It has kind of a cool history, I know, but it's tedious to play around for this guide. It is nice that it sends you through a bathroom because you can save anyway. That's nice. I get the whole like saving game in a bathroom shtick. It's kind of cool, but it does make the bathroom and saving points kind of inconvenient because they do have to make sense. Like if you're in the middle of like the quarry at the end of Dead Rising 1, a save point would be nice, but why would there be a bathroom there? Like you have to kind of explain. Or you can't have, like, why does this one casino have 3 bathrooms? It's like, well, maybe it's because you have a boss fights there, but realistically, why would that be a thing? Or just how it means the save points have to be like way down a hall and then into another room. So we actually have some time to our next case, the source. I've always been confused, like when if you like look it up, the little description of it, it says that you have time to kill until it starts. But then Stacy will call you and act like you've been putting it off and like you should get there right away. Like, I don't know, maybe I was wrong and you can go there at any time. If that was the case, I would go take care of it sooner. But this one works out fine. Really, there's a lot of scoops where they act like, oh, you need to get there as soon as possible, and then you don't. Like later on when you have to go fight TK's helicopter, they like freak out like, what? Oh, he's quick. You have to go get him. He's running away. And then you have like a full 12 hours or something to go do it. So here I'm just checking, making sure I'm running on time for everything. But we'll pick it back up here. This is actually, I cut the video originally just to make sure I had everything running properly. I still have a couple issues I need to figure out. Like, for some reason, like, I took this over like 6 takes or something. And the first take and the last take were fine. Which the first take was like 20 minutes and the last take was like 4 hours. And those were fine. But for some reason, every take in between has this weird, like, variable time shift. I want to say it's like 200 milliseconds off. For the audio lags or leads the video. And I think I know why it is. It's some issue with my setup. But I can't figure it out because why, like, the first and the last don't have that issue. And that's been an example of some of the issues where it's been hard to track down the solution because I don't know what's causing it, and it doesn't happen every time. I'm a computer engineering student, and let me tell you, I have more than enough experience trying to track down a bug that just, it never happens or so rarely occurs. It's not a great position you want to be in, but it's doable. Unfortunately, I did forget to give Katie the ball the time we were in the security room, but I'll come back. I think there is a ball in the toy store right outside here, so I didn't need to, but I remember that there was one there anyway, so it's like, oh, I'll grab it. The gifts do give a nice little reason, like, there's no real reason to use the beach ball for anything else, but since it's collectible to give to Katie, it gives it a reason to be there. And I think it functions like as a shittier soccer ball, which, like in Dead Rising 1, the soccer ball is amazing. Because while it doesn't always kill it, it almost acts like the Blambo, where it will just knock them all down and you can walk through. It was my goal to make sure I want to get that car unlocked by the end of this run. I now know you need 500,000, I believe, to unlock it. I originally thought it was much more. I thought it was 150,000, so I ended up actually farming for money. But the big thing that's going to help us is the poker game. I believe at the end of this day, you need $100,000 to play it, but it gives you $1 million if you win it. And at that point, cash is no longer an issue for most of the game. And actually, if it wasn't so long, it wouldn't even be that bad of a way to farm money. Particularly if you could just leave your Xbox on, you could just let it play up to that point, go play poker, win it, reset. And that would be slower than Terra's Reality or farming it actively, but for the most part, you'd only need to be there for the actual poker sections. You could just let the Xbox do the work otherwise. But I don't really feel like it's necessary to farm money in this game, because once you have everything, it's like money's completely worthless after that. I guess maybe you still need Zombrex on one run, but really you only need like 3 million to unlock everything. And that just means like play through the game twice and then maybe you'll like the rest of the change, you'll be fine. So I don't know. I like the idea of cash. I think it has a lot of potential in how they use it in the game, and it fits so well with Fortune City. I just wish it was a little bit more pervasive. Like, they have cool stuff like this, like, oh, $100 to get snacks. Like, I like it, but I wish there was more. One thing I don't show is there's actually areas around the game where there are hacked vending machines, so instead of snacks, they'll give you weapons, and they also cost way more. Now, unfortunately, I think they're also kind of a ripoff. Not because they cost too much, but rather it's like they give you like a handgun. If they gave you like a random weapon, like a combo weapon, I would hit those every single time. Just because you don't know what you're going to get, but it would let you get weapons you don't have in certain areas otherwise. Like, you're never going to get, say, like, why would you ever take the paddle saw down to the underground? I don't know if that's a good example, but it's one of those things where it'd be such a pain to get it down there or to certain boss fights. But if you got lucky and it dropped on the boss fight, it has the potential to absolutely tear through some bosses. So that's what I'd like to see. I'll try to point out. I think I actually do come across at least one in this run. But right as is, they give you like a handgun or a knife, which isn't terrible, but they cost like a couple thousand, which I can afford, but it's just like, I could also just go find a better weapon in a couple of seconds. Thanks for watching. If you want to see more, check out one of the links below. Till next time, don't take your zombie safety for granted.